Okay, today's video, we're going to talk about how to improve your shopping campaigns or PMAX campaigns. The part of PMAX that you're going to have what were formerly called shopping campaigns, or still we have shopping campaigns, but the little picture ads with the price there on Google, we can actually get the profitability of that shopping campaign or PMAX campaign up 200% or more just by using sexy models, if you will, in the shopping feed or in the part of the ad on Google there with the picture, adding the sexy model as a part of the picture and holding the products or just modeling or next to or with the products that you're selling there in your product feed. If you're just using a product feed with a individual product in a white background, you should be able to definitely get more results, as we found in a lot of markets, a majority of markets, 80+% of markets, you're going to have better results with a lifestyle photo, i.e. somebody holding the product, or of course, if you're selling a grill or something like that, showing a grill with food on it and then sitting on a picnic table or something like that. I'm going to give you an example of where we did this in a survival gear market where we got these same 200% increase in profits from our campaign. Why and what are the specifics around that, how we were able to do that with the changing the pictures in the product feed, which would change the pictures that physically show up in the ads, and how you can replicate this for yourself. So with that said, I'll get into the content. So yes, that's right. Just by using sexually attractive models in your shopping feed, which, for shopping campaigns, if you don't already, use a shopping product feed that goes into Google Merchant Center, and then Google Merchant Center plugs into Google Ads, so you can run a shopping campaign or a PMAX campaign, which will have the photo of the picture and the price next to it, i.e. shopping ads. If you take your product feed and you just have traditionally like what you probably see most of your competitors have now, just a product showing by itself, just by having we'll just say very attractive, sexy is more so what you want, but a very attractive female in the picture, again, holding the product or, demonstrating or basically next to the product just to catch the eye, specifically females, but, for the most part, I've never tested this with good-looking guys, but I'll explain why females is the better choice anyway. In your shopping feed, why that'll actually get you more results on shopping. The reason for that is, pretty obvious. For the most part, guys, whatever is going to get a guy's attention at the highest rate is, a hot, sexy female. There's really nothing else that you're going to be able to do to get the attention of the user more. Of course, if you're searching for a pocket knife on Google, I want to see pocket knives, but just the fact that a hot, sexy female is next to that picture or holding the product or what have you, whatever you have to do with the type of product that you have, it's actually going to, what ultimately it's going to do is it's going to catch the eye more of the user. And then with that, you'll have higher click-through rates on your ads, which means you're going to get more clicks, and you're going to get more clicks from the part of the product feed / shopping campaign that actually gets you the most of your highest ROI or highest ROI producing parts of your campaign and get more of it. So a certain product on your product feed is doing better than others. If you can get your click-through rates up, you can rely more on that product and what it can do for you versus other lower performing products at a set budget. And so essentially with this, there's kind of as a side note, they found that in other markets where, everybody has known for a long time, people that have advertised through magazines and on TV, having a female model hold the products or be in the advertisements works to get the user's attention. It works like clockwork. It's no secret. But what they found is if the female's too hot, that even if you're having a commercial about like a candy bar, the super really, really hot chick is holding the candy bar and you're having the voice talk about why you should buy this candy bar, how good it is. Yes, it'll get the user's attention, but there's a point in which if hotness is on a scale, the female gets so hot, it gets your attention so much that you'll totally ignore what it is about that candy bar or what you're trying to educate the consumer about. So it's great to get the user's attention, but there is that effect and why you have to be careful when using it. But as far as it goes with shopping campaigns, it's great because with the shopping campaign, all we're trying to do is get the user's attention. It'll get the user's attention, and we don't have to worry about getting the wrong attention, because if they're searching for a pocket knife, we already know they're in market for a pocket knife. All we're trying to do is get that person from Google that wanted a pocket knife to our site. And if it takes a sexy lady in our picture to do it, that's fine. Of course, we want them to see the picture of the product too, to confirm that it is a pocket knife that we're selling. But it's fantastic for getting that user's attention. So we get them from Google to our site at the highest rate we can. And of course, the sexy lady is not there on the landing page or website or product page anymore, which you wouldn't want it to be for specifically the reasons I told you, i.e. they're going to focus on that sexy lady, and pretty soon, they're on pornhub.com or whatever. You don't want that going for you. You don't want that happening to you. So, but specifically as it comes to the shopping ad and doing what you need to do with the shopping campaign, but above all else is getting a high click-through rate on that ad, because it's going to be able to get you more of the market, of course, but more specifically, like I was saying before, it's going to get you to where part of the account that is producing the most of the profit for you, you're going to get more opportunities from those golden spots of your account. But not only that, going a bit further here, Google actually wants to promote the ads and the products and the individual advertisers' ads that actually gets the highest click-through rate. Of course, they also look at conversion rates on your site, but whatever ad gets the highest click-through rate, actually they assume serves the user's needs the best, and therefore they want to promote that person's advertisement over other people advertising, because that gets what people, ultimately they want people that use Google to want to be satisfied and have a good memory of other times that they've looked at the ad spots, and with that find good use of the ads that are showing. So people in the future, the first place they go look for what they want on the search results is the ads. So they don't want somebody with the most money, so to say. They want somebody who can get the user's attention at the highest rate, because that'll get people to want to click on ads and look for ads in the future, which builds in long-term usage of Google's product, and specifically the ads, and get more people clicking on the ads long-term. Of course, they look at the landing page conversion rate. So if you if you have clickbait and you can't deliver on your site and you go back to Google, that goes against you in terms of deciding if they want to show your ad or some of the other people that want to have their ad show up on that set product and related search results or not. But in general, if you are doing better than the other advertisers in terms of the click-through rate of your ad versus the other people that want to advertise on those same search results and for those same products, Google will want to show your ad over the other ads. And there's typically 8 spots on Google for the shopping product ads to be featured. There's more than 8 people that want to have their ads show up there. There's like 20. And Google's always doing this analysis as to which ads are getting the highest click-through rates, which ads are getting the best conversion rates on the site, meaning that the person got what they want when they went there, so they have, in the future when they Google something, they want to actually use the ads because they got a good, they got what they wanted quickly and easily, and they were happy and all that. And so if you have a much higher click-through rate to the point where you can double your click-through rate, you probably now have a click-through rate higher than almost anybody else out of those 20 people that are fighting for those 8, shopping ad spots, to where you're getting shown basically all the time, versus you knock somebody else out of the game completely. And you'll know where you're at with that because specifically you can see the search impression share and If your percentage of time that you're eligible to show up, if that goes up, then of course, naturally, you're going to have more of the available opportunities to make money. Of course, more of the better opportunities that are making the most money, you'll get more of those as well. So this all works together to get you a higher profit margin as well tied to that from your shopping campaigns or your PMAX campaigns that are specifically from the shopping ad placements with PMAX that you're going to have. And so specifically with that, if you can deliver, to tie everything together here, if you can deliver a good experience on your site, you have a great product with great photos, and usually want photos of your products because people generally as a whole want those in terms of evaluating a product for sale. If you have a really good copywritten description, you have a lot of the features, you have the reviews, you have all this key stuff that typically every person wants. And you can do it better than, specifically go back to what I was saying before, you can do it better than your competition in terms of their conversion rate of the traffic that, ultimately from that, of the 8 people advertising, or should I say 20 people that are rotated in and out of the shopping ads. If you can convert also better than the other people, those other 20 people, then your high click-through rate will stick. If you have poor conversion rates but a high click-through rate, you're not going to get the results that you want. But if you can also do a good job with your landing page where you're taking them to, your product page, this will all, you should be able to get that 200% increase in click-through rate on your campaigns. And with that, also 200% increase in profitability or more, depending on what market you're in, your situation. So anyway, with that said, we know that this works already in male-dominated markets, i.e., we had tested this out specifically in the survival gear space, which if you don't know what that is, it's like people who think the world's going to end, or they're preparing for natural disasters, or they think that the government's going to collapse or whatever. You get all these first aid kits and storable foods that can last for 30 years without going bad. Stuff like that, so that if the the grocery stores are out of food, you can't go to the banks because they're shut down, whatever. You can't go to Walmart anymore to get first aid kits. You can go and get all this stuff, assuming ahead of time, you store it up so that if anything happens where you can't get your everyday items that you need to generally survive, you'll be okay for a month, 2 months, a year, depending on how prepared you are, how paranoid you are, I guess. So most of the people in that market, though, are males. Mostly females aren't doing this, presumably just because they're counting if they were really worried, they're telling their husband to do it and they're doing it for them or what have you. Obviously, there's some females in that market, whether it's 10 or 20%. I don't know the exact percentage right offhand, but you get the general idea. It's mostly males. So what we do know with having the sexy female models in the photos, we know that that's going to get you should be about a 200% increase in profitability of the current profitability of your shopping campaigns or PMAX campaign, if you will, going along with that. If you use the sexy models in your ads, specifically where you didn't have them before, maybe more if you started out where you just had just the product and just the white background, because in this particular situation with the survival company, they had some lifestyle photos as well, i.e., one thing with the survival gear market, they'll have ways to cook your food without needing just with a match basically, and they would have a lifestyle photo with that cooking piece of equipment on a picnic table, like as a backdrop, and then so they already had that going for them, which increased their click-through rates, which you can do to increase your click-through rates. But in addition to that, we took the model and added it to that. Specifically with the lifestyle photos that they were already using, and then got phenomenal returns after that. So anyway, with that all said, we know that if mainly males are paying attention or in that market would be the ones seeing the ads, the results are fantastic. You may get 200%, you maybe get 300% if you're starting with a white background and the photo and that's it. In female-dominated markets, I'm pretty sure, though, you should be able to get at least a doubling in your profitability of your campaign, too, because magazine covers all use pictures of attractive ladies in with the actual in the magazines that they normally sell on the racks. And with that, the reason why you see, basically, in other words, if you're at the grocery store, you look at the magazine rack, you'll see almost all the magazines for women have the same thing. They have a picture of a woman on the magazine cover. The reason for, and these are all selling to women. So why is it that they're doing that? Well, this has all been heavily studied and known for a couple decades now, that there's nothing more that'll get a female's attention than another youthful, beautiful, basically, seemingly female in the cover of that, magazine. Because obviously, if it doesn't get the user's attention at all, you're not going to get it opened. The only thing you really have to go on is the brand recognition of the magazine and then the picture on that's on the front. Those are the two main things. So anyway, that's been heavily studied. This is what all the magazine companies know. They're selling to females. Therefore, you can basically conclude here that having a female model that's decent looking, maybe it's definitely some variances on the how beautiful the girl needs to be, or if she looks tacky or whatnot, looks like a bimbo or whatnot, maybe that wouldn't work for female audiences, if you will. But you should be able to get a boost. My point is, you definitely should be able to get a boost having a female model in the ad because of the whole situation with the studies that the magazine printing and, the magazine companies in general have figured out. If you want more information about that, you can also verify this. Jordan Peterson has spoke about this as well, about how every magazine has female on it because that's what captures the attention. It's not just a lot of these magazines cater to women on how to make themselves more beautiful and all that. It isn't specifically that they're selling to females, therefore they have a female on the cover in order to get the female's attention. It's because the youthful female is what gets the attention specifically in the first place. So you can check out, female, magazine covers, Jordan Peterson. You type that into YouTube, you'll find a video specifically talks about the psychology behind that. So anyway, if you're in a market, you're selling to females, in other words, I'd still give this a shot. In male-dominated markets, no question, this is going to work for you. The question is how much. Hopefully, you're able to get the same kind of results we have, but certainly the change between having no female and then having a decent-looking female, and I would say specifically it would have to be a decent-looking female, not just any female. You should be able to get phenomenal results. You're not going to be talking about 10, 20%. It's going to change your CTR a lot. That said, we tried this out, again, was in the survival gear space. They were already using some lifestyle photos in their picture ads within their product feed and then within their shopping campaign. The picture part of the shopping ad had a lifestyle version of it. They would have the product held by somebody, or it was in front of a sitting on the ground or sitting on a picnic table, something like that. So our results could have certainly been bigger if we went and had the female added, we were just starting with a white background. I know that because lifestyle photos work so well in just getting more from a shopping campaign in general. And the reason for that is, by the way, just to take a small side to this, the reason for that is if you look at your competition, kind of going back to what I was saying before, everything you're doing to get more from your shopping campaigns is about out-competing the people that are there advertising in the shopping campaign space already in terms of the click-through rate and the conversion rate on the landing page that you're taking people to. And so with that, you got to put yourself in the user's shoes. What's going to get the user's attention more? And what's going to get the user's attention more is going to be what stands out, i.e. the purple cow. Seth Godin has spoken about so much in the past and in his book, The Purple Cow. You want it to be the one that stands out. Whatever you are going to type in your keywords, presumably that your shopping ads will show up, and you're just going to look at what's there in the shopping ad space. Sometimes it's right at the top of Google, sometimes it's at the side, as we know, and you're going to see what are most of the other people doing. Are most of the other people having a white background? Okay, let's try a lifestyle photo. If other people are using mostly the lifestyle photos for some reason, or they, for instance, if you're selling clothing and most of the people are having a model with the clothing on, try to do, of course, with the clothing, not using a model, if you will. You want to do something that's basically different. What's going to be different, assuming it's different and presumably it catches your eye and still is attractive, because you could be different and be crappy. It's not going to help you. But what can you do that's attractive, but also other people aren't doing? That's sort of basically your goal. For the most part, most people aren't going to spend money to have attractive models showing off their products. Even if they had a clothing brand and they had females with the clothes on, they're not going to hire a supermodel to put the clothes on. And I'm telling you right now, you should, because the results when you do this are fantastic. And the reason for that is because, yes, males and females, as I got done explaining here, nothing gets their attention initially better than this, but nobody else is doing it because everybody else is too cheap. And that's why the lifestyle photos work. Everybody else is too cheap. It takes 2 seconds. You can have a light box to put your photos in there to take a picture of your product with a white background. You can put your product You can put your product in this little light box you have to take a picture of your products. Take a photo, take it out, put the next product in, take your next photo, take it out, put the next product in. You can take all your photos of all your products really, really quickly that way. To do a lifestyle photo of every product you have in your store, that takes way more time and way more money and effort and energy. Going a step further here, trying to have an attractive model next to the product, now you're talking about even more expense. When in reality, you can actually hack this a little bit. You could have a picture of a model and you could just, insert the model next to the product and still get most of the benefit from this, which is an excellent idea as a workaround if you just want to test this out for yourself. And by the way, if you're going to test this out, you don't believe me, test just one product image out. Change one product image and see if the click-through rate on that goes up. And then you'll know pretty much on all the products it will. And you can start by doing it with Photoshop. If that works, then you can go and do it the right way, if you will, and take it the rest of the way and have a realistic photo with the model standing next to the product or holding it, which generally that seems to work real well when they're holding the product versus standing next to it. It looks more real. That's what we were doing with this particular company. We didn't do any Photoshop stuff, but you could, in other words, take this one step at a time to see where you can go with it. And as per that, as another thing to mention here, with shopping campaigns / PMAX campaigns, as you know, you have to create a product feed which goes into Google Merchant Center, which then you use that product feed to run your shopping or PMAX campaigns. With that, you can use either a automated feed or a manual feed. A automated feed comes from having a computer script or an active plugin on your store that automatically generates the product feed and then sends that and basically will generally check your site for any new products or changes in prices and stuff like that once a day, and then reports it to Google Merchant Center, so it updates Google Merchant Center of the entire status of all your products and the status of the inventory, if it's out of stock and stuff like that, all in real time for you automatically. Or you can have a manual feed where you create basically a spreadsheet and you upload it to Google Merchant Center, and then if you ever have something out of stock or change the price on something, you have to update that feed manually. But the advantage of using the manual feed is the fact that you can have a different photo on the Google Merchant Center feed than you have on the site. So specifically as it comes to this, you don't want that sexy photo on your site because it's probably going to draw too much attention away from the selling points of them understanding why they should buy this product, like I said, you typically don't want to do. So you can have one version of the product photo that's going to show on Google Shopping there, the one product with the model, and then when they get to your site, it's just going to be a picture of the product. So you can differentiate what you want Google to show on google.com in the shopping ad versus what the product photo is going to show on your site. And that would be the way that I recommend doing it. And as you're doing testing, it's convenient because even if you're using an automated product feed now, you can create a manual feed and then run a separate shopping campaign off of that manual feed and not even have to touch your existing shopping campaign to see if this new idea I'm giving you here, this new opportunity, is going to work for you and how well. And once you already know how well it works, of course, then perhaps you can just run that particular campaign full time, and once the numbers are showing better than the numbers on the original campaign, and then just shut the original campaign off. Respectively, so anyway, a manual feed is the ideal situation for taking advantage of this, even though it's a pain to keep a manual feed updated. There are some product feeds out there, automated product feeds, plugin, which those are usually run. For most people, they're going to have a plugin for Shopify or a plugin for WooCommerce that's going to be an automated product feed that they can use with Google Merchant Center, so they don't have to create it with a custom XML script is what you have to do if you're not going to use a product feed. Those plugins, for the most part, don't let you have a separate image for Google Merchant Center as you have as the default photo on your website, which is the problem of working with those automated product feed plugins themselves. So, but if you created your own automated product feed using an XML feed, you could actually then have it, have a different photo, i.e. the one with the model in it, for Google Merchant Center, and then not have that match up with the same photo you're using on the product pages, so that you can do this strategy right. I believe that there are some plugins out there that allow you to have a different photo than the photo that's on the website. I don't know of any decent ones yet, and I haven't tried to work around and do that yet, to have an automated feed that lets you have a separate product photo for Google Merchant Center, as is what is showing by default as the product photo on the site, but I would like to be able to use that. For the most part, where we had to work around it, we were using a custom XML feed that would then not take the product photo from the site for the product image for Google Merchant Center. We allowed it to pull the product photo from another file location on the web server. So anyway, that's some other information about this, but when we ran the test for the survival gear company, our increase in click-through rate went up 149% once we did this, when it was done completely across the board. We tested this out on a couple products, worked well, did the complete rollout. We're able to, like I said, they had lifestyle photos before. We upgraded it with having a model in the lifestyle photo. In some cases where they did have a white background, and then we just had stuck the model in there. They were all real photos. They weren't digitally comprised, where we digitally inserted the model in there into the product photo itself. And we had a different photo of the model. The photo going to Google Merchant Center was different because we were using a separate feed, XML feed, to do this. That was actually the photo on the website was different than what we had in the Google Merchant Center, and therefore what was showing up on Google Shopping. So with that said, the profitability, because we had this also helps making sure that your conversion rate's still going to be there. Because we used the model only on Google and not on the product site, we were able to back up our increase in click-through rate with 178% increase in profit. So we got the user's attention. Click-through rate went up a whole ton, 149%. That gave us more opportunity to be able to get more clicks from the people that are on Google that were the most profitable for us. And then with that, they got to our site. We didn't have that tacky image there, and we were able to get a decent conversion rate to go along with it, which is what you should do as well. But part of the additional reason why we're able to get more profit than the CTR, which I can't control everything Google does or the decisions that they make. But the main thing is, going back to what I was saying before, which is very important, is that Google's constantly trying to figure out which of the 20 or so people that they're cycling in and out of the shopping space to see who should be showing up for which people and which searches, and what demographics those people have, to see if your image should be there, if your ad should be there in the shopping ad space, or somebody else's that they have the availability to insert in your spot. They're basing who should show up there heavily on the click-through rate, and then also the conversion rate, that your ability to convert traffic from that type of person that's going to be seeing your ad from that type of search, and the type of person that they are as a whole, as a profiled type of person that Google has profiled. Because ultimately they don't just decide who's showing up where for each search. They're looking at all the individual traits of each user that makes a search for that particular keyword, and decide if you should show up for that keyword all the time or just part of the time. But basically, with that, we were running a static ad budget. Okay, Google was saying we could spend more, but you'll find with having PMAX and smart shopping campaigns, shopping campaigns, that Google will generally say you can spend more money per day, but if you do, your ROI will go down. And so with the increase in click-through rate, ultimately what it did was it put us in position to get a lot more clicks from the part of the shopping campaign that was just a lot more productive for us. And with that, because it wasn't just from the increase in click-through rate physically from the ad, but we were physically getting showed more times out of, basically more times out of 100 than we were before. So whereas our impression share before was 70 to 80%, we're closer to 90% now, because Google wants to show us a lot more than what they were before, because it's giving their users the better experience having our ad show up more. So therefore they just want to put our ad in front of people searching for these products more so than they were before, if you follow all this. So like I said, it gets you more clicks, it gets you more clicks from the part of the your product feed that are doing the most for you in terms of profits, and then it also gets you shown more, eligible to shown more times than you were before, because you're serving the users that Google has better. Therefore they want to show you more times out of 100, i.e. your search impression share, which all contribute into a higher profit for your company. So with all that said, this is how we were able to get 178% increase in profits based upon the baseline without the models used in the ads, compared to what we had before, and how that actually increase in profit number is higher than the CTR increase that we got. So we got a rise in CTR, but if you get a rise in CTR, it's significant. Your rise in profit should go up even higher, because there's other benefits of getting a higher click-through rate, i.e. the part of the shopping feed that's doing well for you. You get more of it. You're eligible to be shown more times out of 100, if you will, as well, from the parts of the feed that are specifically doing great for you. And so with that, on a static budget that stayed basically the same, we were able to make a lot more. But then from there, you're in position to actually be able to raise the daily budget, because basically we'll take any sale that we can get that's above a 8-to-1 return. Once you're in position to actually raise how much profits you're making from your campaign, then now we can have the room to actually raise our daily budget, which we did. So, basically that's the general idea there. You can put yourself in position to take your current budget, get it way more productive than it was, and then probably also following that raise the actual ad budget itself after that, which is generally what the goal of PPC always is. Goal of PPC is find out what you need in terms of a return. Is it a 5-to-1 return, 6-to-1 return, 7-to-1 return, whatever. Hit that return and then scale. And so everything you're doing initially is just about being in position to scale. You're going to spend money trying to figure out how to scale. And then once you are there, whatever money you spent to get to initial profitability, you make all that up and then times 100 on the back end once you start scaling. So you start with a small budget, and that budget is an investment to try to get a model, if you will, that's working. And once that model works, then when you scale it, that initial time to get up and get a model working, i.e. right ad, right click, right landing page, right? Image ad in this particular case. That's all just a cost of figuring out how to build a scalable PPC strategy itself. So anyway, as a final note to all of this, I'm trying to keep this somewhat tacky here, but knowing what we know about having a decent looking female, either holding the products or near the products, how that had lifted our profitability of our PMAX campaign so much doing this. The logical step, to move, logical next step here to look at would be to see the models that we're using. Could we make even more if we change them a little bit? And would exaggerating their figures work even better? If we're talking about marketing to males specifically, I'm pretty much sure, doing my research after this and looking at other markets where people are starting to kind of, what I'm telling you here is catching on a little bit, but where I'll see like, for instance, those ads for Alibaba and stuff like that, the ads that are naturally coming to the top of, basically what's being shown for odds and ends products are usually like overly busty, Asian female, it might be a Chinese female with, holding a product, because your eyes really going to be drawn to the photo there. And it had nothing to do with the product. And of course, that got so many people to click on that ad that naturally, out of all the, ultimately products that they can show, that's the one Google wants to show. And Google's algorithm saying, for some reason, that product, that everybody just loves that product, when really that's what, it was basically the shopping ad equivalent of clickbait, sorry. So if you had, somebody, a female with exaggerated proportions, certainly I bet you could take this another step forward. That you'd have to make that decision if that's too tacky for your brand or not. But realistically, based upon what we know about human nature and things like that, it's certainly got to work. So anyway, it's just another potential idea. You can start with female that's conventionally beautiful, and then maybe take things a step further. Of course, that's all legitly legal. It can't be sexually suggestive, but different, let's just say, body measurements will certainly probably have a different effect on your click-through rate and the amount of profit your campaign is going to make actually doing this. So you may want to think about that if you are going to go ahead and execute this strategy, test it out, see if it's going to work the same way for you. To start out with somebody who you think it through, first of all, because making all these photos, you may only have 10 products, so it might not be a big deal for you, but the amount of time it's going to take for you and expense, and it's going to be hard to actually, you have to get the models, and you have to have a shoot. That takes so much time. Maybe just go all the way with it initially. So anyway, we'll wrap it up with that. And hope you enjoyed the video. If you think you got a lot out of this, I'd appreciate it if you could give it a like and consider subscribing to this channel, as I have a ton of different content on this channel that's going to go over a lot of different other money-making strategies related to PPC with you and for you, as we're constantly testing things like this stuff that I just mentioned on this channel out at our PPC firm, and want to share with you on this channel what they are, stuff that's working and in real time. We also share with you stuff that's not working or doesn't work anymore to be able to help you save money. And it's the best information on YouTube as far as I'm concerned about PPC and actual actionable advice that's going to be able to help you make more money with your campaigns that I can find. If you find better information, let me know. I'd like to look at it. So I also, by the way, have a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog with step-by-step advice on how to build PPC campaigns. Like I was talking about here, shopping campaigns, so on and so forth. If you want to learn on a more individualized step-by-step basis on how to set campaigns up that basically guarantee results, we got to guarantee results for our clients at our firm. So if you want to see what we're using physically, you can find great information there. It all is authored by myself personally. If you have any questions about anything I mentioned here, leave me a comment down below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. And so with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. I do want to mention one other thing here, we do have a brand new program at our firm where we're offering turnkey PPC campaigns, where we're basically having, we got great results in one market locally. If you want to open a business in another adjacent market that's not going to compete with, a client that we've had, you can use the same exact campaigns that we're using for another client in another market. It's never going to, cross paths with you, in which we literally spent years, building this campaign and has generated millions of dollars in sales and profit a year because we've spent so much time optimizing these campaigns. And without you having to go through the struggle we have for this client and with, in general, that they had to go through and invest to get their campaign going, you can use, a version of that for your own company. And we give you the campaign, we give you the landing pages, and you get to see the results this campaign is capable to do before we even have to spend money on it. So if you're looking to start a new business, this is a great way to start and hit the ground running, because the hardest part is, having marketing that's profitable, where you're only spending 6, 7, 8% of your cost of your sales on marketing and have it all work out. And so you could just, basically have a turnkey business. And we also have national campaigns where the campaigns aren't used anymore that are still profitable. You could acquire those products and have a turnkey business where the campaign was making great money. The campaign was abandoned for a more productive way to sell. You can start a very profitable business using turnkey campaigns that we have that are just shelved. So if you're interested in that type of thing, you can reach out to our firm and I can give you more information about it, or one of our staff. So with that said, really we'll wrap it up with that, and hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you in my next video where we have another great strategy for you. Peace.